So this is the stamp set right here, and it has 4 greetings. Our friendship is a thing of beauty. Happy birthday. You're so totally awesome, and your strength is an inspiration. And then you get this gorgeous wave. So let me show you what the dies can do. You all, if you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that I always do this to kind of simplify things and give us an idea of what those dies look like and what they can really do. So, yay, Lisa, we're so happy to have you. We're glad you're a newbie. Yay. All right, so these are the waves dies, okay? First of all, you get this shape right here, and it will work for 2 of the greetings. All right, so it's 1 die, but I'm showing you how you can use it 2 times, 2 different ways, 2 different greetings, okay? And then we've got this die right here, and the happy birthday fits in this one. And then we have 2 different outlines for the waves. So here's one of the waves, and here is the other wave. And then we've got the bird sitting here on the near a dock, and then we've got birds up here. You can cut both of these out at the very same time. Now I want you to look at this cloud, okay? This is actually 2 different dies. There's a cloud die, and then there is another die that would cut this out and make the outline of the cloud, okay? So it's 2 separate dies, and I used 2 different colors so you could see that. And then here's a larger cloud, and here is the other die here cut out in white. So it really gives the clouds definition, all right? And you can see here the Waves of Inspiration bundle is item number 158841. It's the stamp set and the dies for $51.25. Now, let me go ahead and show you these gorgeous rhinestones, all right? We've got 4 different colors in the rhinestones, all right? It looks like Night of Navy, maybe some pool party, granny apple green. I was hoping it would list the colors for it, but it doesn't, okay? But these are the rhinestones. And now I want to show you the paper. The paper you're just not going to believe. Okay, are you ready for this? This is the best part. I'm going to really zoom out. And this is the first piece. Now there's a story behind this paper, and Stampin' Up! Has created a video on how they created this paper. And I think they took buckets of paint. So I actually need to go back and watch that video so that I know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that, Anita. The clouds do look like they could be rocks. Absolutely, that's so cool. It's so neat that you saw that. This is the opposite side of this piece, all right? So there's the opposite side. Look how gorgeous this is. It's unbelievable. Look at this piece. So we've got some Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Granny Apple Green, Calypso Coral, and Petal Pink. And I like to use Pool Party with it too. All right. All right, this is one of my favorite pieces. And I guess it's because of the Granny Apple Green in it. I just love that. Peggy, if you go to the Stampin' Up, the official Stampin' Up page on YouTube, I think you'll see the video if it's been released. If you're a demonstrator, you can find it on the demonstrator website, okay? All right, so here's another, look at this. Oh, love, love, love this. And here's another piece. It's just unstinking believable, isn't it? It really is. All right, and there it is with that Calypso Coral. And then here we go again, another dark one. So it looks like we get a darker blue one almost every time. Here's another one. We're going to actually use this piece tonight, okay? And look at this. Every sheet is different. And then here's this sheet. Isn't that pretty? And you can see the petal pink in it. It's just beautiful. All right, so that's all the designer paper. It is stunning, okay? All right, so here's the good news and the bad news, all right? The paper, and by the way, it doesn't come out until Tuesday, March 1, okay? The paper will be available while supplies last. That means it will not be in the annual catalog. The rhinestones are available while supplies last. They will not be in the annual catalog, okay? So I wanted you to know that. I'm going to show you some foil that they brought out that coordinates with it. And the foil will also be available while supplies last. It will not be in the annual catalog. Now, the good news is the stamp set and the die set will be in the annual catalog. So it's kind of a sneak peek of what's coming in our new annual catalog, okay? I know, it's crazy, isn't it, Sue? All right, so your foil sheets, you get 2 silver, and you get 2, I'm either gonna call it Coastal Cabana or Bermuda Bay. And I'm sorry, I've got, you know, fluorescent lights around here, so everything is not good lighting at all when it comes to the shiny foil. It doesn't really do a good job. And then here's like Pacific Point. All right, so this you really need to see in person. Silver, Coastal Cabana, and Pacific Point. That's what I'm gonna call it. I don't know if that's the exact names or not, but the sheets do come 12 by 12, all right? Yeah, Sue, I agree. Stampin' Up! Does. They continue to outdo themselves. I don't know how they do it. It's pretty incredible, but we have some beautiful, beautiful things. All right, so we are going to get started, and I am going to show you 2 different cards. All right, and I'll go ahead and I'll zoom in a little bit. I'm going to give you measurements, and you'll probably want to do a screenshot. All right, this is the same layout, but this designer paper is longer than this designer paper, okay? This is card number 1, and this is card number 2, all right? So here are the measurements, and I'll let you have a few minutes to look at that and to get a screenshot of that if you would like, and then I'll go back and look to see if there are any questions for me. Okay. Yeah, Peggy's asking, why don't they carry over the paper and the rhinestones? Those are expendable while the stamp and die stay the same until they retire. That's very true, Peggy. And I guess what Stampin' Up! Wants to do is create a certain a sense of urgency. And you know, things probably sell better when they're only available for a certain amount of time. That's the only thing that I can think of. So anyway, thank you, ladies. I'm glad you like the cards. All right, I'm going back through comments to see if there were any questions that I haven't answered. I think I've got everybody. We have some newbies tonight, and I just want to say welcome. I'm going to be giving away 2 cards this evening, the ones that we create. And if you comment, your name is in the drawing to earn that free card. All right, so I hope you'll take advantage of that and leave a comment this evening, especially if you're brand new. Let us know you're a newbie. We love new people. Our community grows when you join us. Okay. All right. I know, Peggy, it makes us buy it, doesn't it? It makes us buy that designer paper. The rhinestones are gorgeous. I mean, the camera just doesn't do it justice. So, yeah. Super pretty, super pretty. I know a lot of y'all are demonstrators who watch, so I'd love to know if you have this and if you have created any cards with it yet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And to create today's cards, the two of these, I decided to go on Pinterest and look for a card sketch, okay? And so I don't know if you all have ever done this, and I printed this off Pinterest, but if you go onto Pinterest and type in the search bar, card sketches, sketches like this will come up. And so as you can see, that's where my idea came from today. So just wanted you to know where it's from. I love these card sketches when they have the measurements because I don't have to guess what they might be. So anyway, we're gonna make this card tonight and I'll go over the measurements with you. Once I made this card, then I was curious as to what it would look like if this rectangle was larger than this one and if the designer paper strips were longer. So, all right. Okay, so let's get started on this. We are starting with a basic white card base. So let me get my stuff here. All right. And I've already cut that and scored it. Now my card base is 5.5 by 8.5, all right? Yeah, Pinterest is really helpful for coming up with ideas. I love to use Pinterest. All right. So we are getting ready to cut some paper here, and I was just wondering what it would look like if I used a different color. So this is Pacific Point. This is the Coastal Cabana. Thank you, Jennifer. That means so much to me. And this is Granny Apple Green. All right. So I think I'm going to try Pacific Point with this paper, but all three of them would go with this paper perfectly, okay? Jean says, great tip on the Pinterest card idea. Here's another idea when you're on Pinterest, okay? Because this is what I do. I will type in the search bar the name of the stamp set, and then I will start pinning cards of different cards that I like, okay? And put them all on one board. And then that's where my inspiration comes from. And I love card sketches. They're really, really fun to do, and they are a great resource. Yeah, so just type in card sketches when you go onto Pinterest, okay? All right, so we're gonna start with this. We're gonna go with Pacific Point tonight, and let me give you the measurements, although I did give you the measurements on the paper just now, but I'll do it again. It's 3.5 by 4.25, okay? So that's what you want. Now I need my paper trimmer, and I did not bring that over here, so let me grab it. Okay. Now here's the really cool thing. I'm getting ready to show you how I line my paper up. You don't have to do it like this. But if you look at this design right here, if you were to take these pieces of designer paper and scoot them over so that you can't see the cardstock, you would see that it's the same piece of paper. So that's what we're actually going to do, okay? And so I have a piece of paper right here. This is the one that I've been working on today. And we're going to measure here. It needs to be 4 inches. Okay, so that's already 4 inches. Okay, so I don't even have to trim that. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I need a 1-inch strip. All right. So there's one. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it right here because I want to keep them in order because I want to tape them down just as they were connected. I hope that makes sense. So here's the next one. Okay, see what I'm doing? And then I'll take that last one. You just need 3 of them. And by the way, this is a great thing to do with your scraps. All right, so see what I've done? I've kept them together. They're in order as if they weren't cut at all, okay? So now that I have this strip, I could make a ton of these. Actually, if you took a 4-inch by 12-inch sheet of designer paper, you would get 12 of these strips, which would make 4 cards. Did everybody follow my math on that one? So a 4-inch piece, 12 inches long, and then cut it at 1-inch pieces all the way till you're done. And that'll give you 12 strips. You need 3 strips per card. It gives you 4 cards. All right, 4 cards, just like that. All right, hi Becky, hi Brenda, hi Andrea. Yeah, this is a great way to use your scraps. And they don't have to, you know, be in the same pattern. All right, so that's the cutting. And so now I'm gonna bring this back in, and we're actually going to tape this. Now I'm gonna start with this strip that was over here on the end, and I'm gonna put it on this end, okay? So let's go ahead, get some Stampin' Seal on there. And then you want about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, okay? So that's our first strip, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take that other end and I'm gonna put it on this side, all right? And I'll show you why I do that. I could have used the other side of this paper too. I mean, it's so beautiful. All right. Now the reason I do that is so when I tape this one down, I can actually center this. Whoops, I don't want you to stick yet. So now I'm going to center this between those 2 paper strips, all right? And I have found that the easiest way to do that, okay? All right. Now, I decided to use Pool Party for my strip, and I have the words, "You're totally awesome." And we're actually going to use Pacific Point, which I haven't used in a really long time. Cheryl, I am so glad you like it. All right, so we'll put that about right there. Okay, and then we'll be ready to cut that out. And actually, just for the sake of television, I've already taken that die and I've cut it out, but it's just a different greeting, okay? So that'll save us a little time because our next card is gonna be a little more involved, okay? Now I'm using, and this is the glittery, the glitter organdy ribbon, and it's the Whisper White, okay? So I used it today and then I realized, oh, that's retired. It's not current. So you can decide whatever ribbon it is that you want to make. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna thread that ribbon through the holes here. Now I can see me using this die for lots of things. I love this shape. So I can see me using that quite a bit. And I'm gonna turn this over on the back because you know, this would not be a complete night if I did not use dimensionals, right? It just wouldn't be a night of stamping with me. So I'm gonna put that dimensional right over that ribbon. And that'll kind of hold the ribbon in place, and yet I can pop up my words, okay? All right, and so the next thing we're gonna do is, we're just gonna peel that off, and now at this point, you can put this anywhere on the card that you want. And I think I'm going to go for the middle. On the original card, I had it more towards the bottom. So there we go. Isn't this pretty? I mean, you can't go wrong. It doesn't matter which designer paper you use. It just doesn't matter. Now I'm going to take, and I just popped a glue dot there right on my thumb. I'm going to add some glue dots here on the back, okay? Now the reason I'm adding these is so that I can attach that ribbon to the back. All right, so I put that right there and right there, and then I'll just slide that ribbon up a little bit. I think I'll slide it up. All right, okay. Now again, I am going to add dimensionals, and I'm going to pop this up on the card base because I actually love that look. All right. And then remember, here's our card base, and we are going to just put this here, right along here, and hopefully we're going to get it straight. And then we're going to bring in these gorgeous rhinestones. They are just beautiful. Look at these. And I don't know if the camera can even do this justice, but they are beautiful. And let's go ahead and let's add a darker one. You actually get 3 sizes, okay? So there are, I think that size might be a little big. I don't want it to interfere with the word. So let's do little. I'll put one right there. And I'm assuming this is the Pacific Point rhinestone. All right, I'm gonna zoom in so that you all can get a look at that, okay? And we're gonna use the rhinestones on the next card as well. All right, so that's our first card, and it was just a card sketch. That's all it was. So that's how the inspiration happened for that card. Now, you can do the very same thing, all right, just by making these strips longer, okay? We've already talked about that. So this strip is 1 inch by 4 inches. This strip is 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches, I believe. Let me just check on that. Yeah, no, 4 1/2 inches, excuse me, 4 1/2 inches, all right? So here's our cards. So easy. I just love it. And remember, you can make 4 of these cards out of a sheet of designer paper that is 4 inches by 12 inches. All right. And if you're just joining us and you're not sure about, you know, what I just said, you can go back and watch the replay and get all those juicy details. All right. So there it is. And I'm going to get us set up for our next card. Okay. I almost panicked because I didn't see the next card. All right, this is the one we're going to give away this evening. So let me go ahead and get our Facebook sticker on here. All right, and we'll give that away. So remember to comment tonight, okay? So that you can get that. All right. So this is our next card right here. Can anyone tell me what this shape is? Do you have any idea of what that shape is? Let me know if you can figure it out. I'm waiting for some guesses. Do y'all have any idea what that shape is? Well, I'm about to tell you. Oh, actually, I Oh, yeah, you got it, girls. You are right. It's the cloud punch. It's the cloud punch. I love this cloud punch. It's the best because you get a really cool shape and it's quick. Just stamp your greeting and you're done. How cool is that? So I think everybody needs this in their collection. All right, definitely. All right, we're gonna get started and I'm gonna show you how to stamp that wave tonight. Are you ready for that? Okay. So I decided to use the Stamparatus today for stamping the wave, okay? And my wave's a little dirty. It's got some ink on it, but it'll be fine for what we're doing. So you can use the wave on a block, but you're gonna need the largest block, okay? The largest block that we sell, all right? Yay, Nancy. I'm glad you have the cloud punch. Okay, so I decided to use the Stamparatus with this. Now the next thing we're going to use, let me get the right piece of paper here. Let's see, I need one for that. I just want to make sure I use the right piece of white paper and that I don't mess this up. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so this is my scrap paper, okay, that I'm using. And I basically just need to stamp the wave because I'm gonna cut it out, okay? And I'm gonna put it about right there, and I'm gonna use this magnet to hold it down, okay? I know, I love the cloud punch. Everybody should have that. All right, so I am going to ink this up in Coastal Cabana, okay? So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ink that in Coastal Cabana. Okay, and then I'm going to close it. All right, and then I'm gonna press. So if my wave doesn't turn out, I can go back, ink up the rubber stamp again, and stamp again. So let's see if that turned out. Yes, it did. Now, what I would like to do is, and hang on one second because I'm gonna turn something off here. Okay, I just needed to turn a sound off. I'm gonna use Pacific Point, okay? And then I'm going to use a sponge dauber, all right? And this is my Pacific Point sponge dauber, okay? And I'm going to add some color in different areas, okay? And notice I did not restamp in Coastal Cabana, okay? So let's do that and see if we like it. And I'm sorry, I just realized that some of what I was doing was out of the view of the camera. But basically, I just used the sponge dauber and did some various places on the wave. It can be anywhere, all right? All right, now I'm gonna stamp again. Hi, Gail. Gail's been at a quilt show. I know she's having a good time. Cheryl, I do think F is the largest block. Yes, I would have to look in the annual book, but I think it's F. All right, now I hardly see any blue at all, okay? So I'm going to do this again. And I'm gonna be a little heavy-handed, and I think that was my problem. But this is the beauty of the Stamparatus, because we can re-stamp if we need to, and I love that. All right. And now we'll do this again. And we'll see how it turns out. We may need to add more Pacific Point. Who knows? Hi, Chris. Welcome. Ah, now we've got some beautiful Pacific Point. So that's our wave. What do you think? Okay. Now we're going to do one more thing while we have the Stamparatus, okay? since this is a Night of Navy card base, I want to add a piece of basic white inside for my words and for writing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add this. Let's see. Yeah, that should work. Hang on. Yep, that should work. All right, I'm just going to line up my grid paper here to make sure. What I'm doing is, and as soon as I do it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm just going to be stamping the bottom of that piece of paper that goes inside the card, okay? All right, so let's do this again, and this time I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, and I'm just re-inking the stamp, okay? And I'll slide this over so you can see, and then I'll take some more. Now look what I'm doing. I've inked it in Coastal Cabana, and now I'm adding some Pacific Point. So let's see how that turns out. I actually just need the bottom. I don't even need the top of the wave, and I'll show you why. All right, and if you want to add some Pacific Point, which I think I do, then I need to add it here. I need to add it along here, along the bottom. All right, and guess what? This is going inside of my card. Isn't that cool? So you can also use designer paper, which I highly recommend with this designer paper because it's pretty amazing. All right, now, because I have my grid paper right here, I can close this up for now, and I'll come back later and I'll clean this with my simple chamois. All right, so Coastal Cabana ink and the Pacific Point sponge dauber. All right, and you'll have it. It's really cool. And the wave looks so much like the designer paper, doesn't it? Yeah, it does make a great edge, absolutely. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this wave, all right? I was hoping they had created a die that would actually cut out the wave, but, you know, I've been working with the dies and I haven't seen anything like that, so I don't think that's the case. I'm actually just cutting around the outline of the wave, okay? Remember, we're going to use some foil next, and we're going to put it on top of the wave. This is foil here that you see, all right? All right. And then I also need to get rid of a little of this, and you can just cut right along that line. You can also use your paper trimmer and trim that off. That's probably what I should have done, but I think this will work just as well. Okay, so that's my wave that's going to go right there. All right. Now, I have another tip for you, and you might want pencil and paper for this, okay? See if I can find the tip. Oh, let's see here. Not there. Let me get my foil. It's all about the foil. Okay, so I found out, I discovered something pretty interesting, all right? So today I used the foil to cut 2 different waves, all right? So let's look at those wave dies. You have one die here, all right? And I'll take it off the sheet. This is one of the dies, one of the waves, all right? This is the other wave. And so you can see the difference. Maybe if I put this on paper, although foil's not going to be the best paper to show you on because of the reflection. But I want you to see this wave. It's different than this wave. All right, so there are some differences. This one has a straight edge and this one is more rounded. All right, so those are the two different waves. So I hope that makes sense. And actually, if I put them on this piece of paper, I think you can see better. All right, so these are the waves and that's what they look like. All right. So today I discovered if you take a sheet of your foil, make sure that it measures 5.5 by 8.5. All right, so that's the first thing. It needs to be 5.5 by 8.5. All right. By cutting it this size, you're going to be able to get 4 waves from this one sheet of foil. All right. Yes, it does make great edging, Arlene. Absolutely. All right. You know what's coming next? Adhesive sheets. All right. You need the adhesive sheets to do this wave or you're going to have a really big mess. So our adhesive sheets are in the annual catalog. They're item number 152334. Okay. And it's 6 inches by 12 inches. Okay, so what I do with my adhesive is, remember with your adhesive sheet, you've got 2 panels. You've got these 2 panels. There's one of them, and there's the other one, okay? So what I did with the adhesive sheet was, I cut it across the panels at 5.25 inches, all right? So this is really important. And this is really going to help you when you cut these waves, all right? And then you're going to cut it at a little less than 8.5 inches. So you could do 8.25 or you could do 8 3/8 of an inch, all right? My ruler only goes to 8, so almost 8.5 inches. And it doesn't have to be exact. So you take your foil and you peel it, peel that adhesive, and put that down, okay? You're gonna also do it again, right there, okay? So I know that's really hard to see. We have one more adhesive sheet to do, or one more strip, I should say, and that one's gonna go about right there. Okay, so it is now covered up, okay? Now, when you go to cut your wave, cut one here and get it as close to the edge as possible. Then take this one and put this one as close as it will go, all right? Now, if you do that, you are going to be able to get 4 on this one sheet of foil. All right, so here's 2 I can cut out, and then you can cut out 2 more. Okay, so that's going to give you 4 waves, 2 of each wave. And what I did was, since I wasn't sure which color that I wanted to use, I actually cut 2 in this color, and you're going to notice that when you cut it, it actually cuts beautifully off of the foil, but the adhesive paper doesn't want to cut all the way through, okay? But once I peel this, that adhesive paper that you see is going to come off. All right, so that's all you see right now is adhesive paper. So that's what it looks like in Coastal Cabana or Bermuda Bay, whatever we want to call that one. Then I cut 2 in the silver foil because I wasn't sure which one I wanted. And then I cut 2 in this Night of Navy, this blue one, okay? And of course I used the other one on the card that I made earlier today. All right, so that's what I would recommend when you're creating cards. Go ahead and make 2 of each foil, okay? 2 of, and you can actually cut at least 4. And then you've got your waves all ready to go when you're making your cards. And that way you're not cutting one wave at a time, all right? Thank you, Yvette. I'm so glad you enjoy it. Hello, Peggy. All right, so we'll get back to making our card, okay? Now, I've already taken the time to cut these, and it's just a standard cut, okay? And so as you can see, I pulled out all the little pieces. The white that you see on here now is the adhesive. And you see this right here? That's just that adhesive paper. It's gonna come off when I peel it, okay? So honestly, it was fairly easy to do, all right? It wasn't hard at all. I like to roll my die first. I like to roll it through once and then crank it backwards so it gets 2 cuts, all right? So that's how I cut these, just in case you need to know that, all right? Hey, Billy. All right, so we need this piece of designer paper right here because that becomes our sky. And so now I'm going to use this piece. So let me give you the measurements on this. This is going to measure 5 inches across and 3 3/4 inches. All right, so that's what you need there. And then at this point, you're actually ready to tape this part of the wave onto the designer paper. All right. And I'm going to line up this straight edge with this designer paper. Okay? All right. Now you're going to notice that my wave's a little bit longer. It's longer than this piece of paper. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim it. Okay? Then I am going to back this with some silver foil. And the silver foil, what did I do with my ruler? Here it is. It's going to be 5 1/8 inches across. No dimensionals yet, Billy. They are coming. They are coming. We've already used some tonight. 3 7/8. All right. Did I tell y'all whenever I place an order, I just automatically order a package of dimensionals? So, because you can't have too many and you don't want to run out. All right. So now I am ready to center this. I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and that 1/8 of an inch is the silver foil. Okay? And I can even add it to my card now. And I'm going to tape this one and not pop it up on the card base. And I am going to center this. All right. By the way, somebody's taking this home tonight, so be sure to comment this evening. Now we're ready for that foil, all right? And so here are my choices, and this is why you want to cut your waves before making cards, because you're going to have options now. You won't be saying, oh, I wonder what, the navy foil looks like, or I wonder what the silver foil looks like. You can just try them out. So this is that like coastal Cabana or Bermuda Bay. And this is the silver foil right there. They all look nice with it. And then we have this one right here. Okay, now let me show you something. Okay, remember the waves are different, right? So here's this wave, and you can see how I probably should have trimmed my wave right around there, but it's kind of too late to trim my wave because I've attached it to the card base, okay? So I probably want to go with this because it actually fits my wave better. So my suggestion would be, once you cut out your stamped wave, go ahead and add your foil. And then if you need to do any trimming, you can. Okay? So that would be my recommendation for that. And that's probably what I should have done, and I didn't even think about it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to peel off the adhesive. And then you'll see how it just comes to life. I also know we need to trim the end, but we can do that last. All right. So our adhesive is in sections, so you might have a couple of pieces that you need to peel off. All right, now I see a piece of that adhesive paper right there. So I'm going to push that out of the way and get rid of that. Everything is looking good. And so I'll zoom in. Sometimes it's easier to zoom in than other times. I'm going to go ahead and add this here. All right. Here's the other thing with adhesive sheets. They are very forgiving. I can move them if I need to. All right. And then right here, you see where that's too long? I'm just going to trim that. And that will take care of that. All right. And so this time I am using the Coastal Cabana foil. All right. So in hindsight, what I should have done was I should have added the foil to the wave before attaching to the card base. And that's what I would recommend. Okay. Now we're going to do some stamping. And let's use, I'm going to use Night of Navy. And I have got to grab my stamp. Hang tight. Here we go. Let's just make sure. Yep. All right. So I'm going to stamp it about right there, okay? I should have used the other words, huh? I love the font. Isn't it beautiful? Yep, Tuesday, March 1. Now remember, come Tuesday, we don't have celebration anymore, okay? So keep that in mind, just in case there are some celebration items that you want, okay? All right, so I'm going to punch that out. I'm going to close up this Night of Navy ink pad so that my hand doesn't get in it. Oh, thank you, Claudia. Claudia, let me know. All of you, please let me know if you need to know how to cut a card base. Sometimes I take that for granted because I've been cutting card bases a long time. Maybe you need to know the sandwich for your Stampin' Cut emboss machine. Maybe you need to see me cut a die. And I do cut dies, you know, when I'm demonstrating. But for the sake of this card, it was just easier to give you some tips on how to cut the waves. So, yeah, anytime you have a question, please let me know. I'm going to put this one right here. And guess what? We're going to add some bling. If I can find the bling. I had the bling. Let's see. Here it is. It's at the bottom of the tray. All right. So I'll pull this back out. And let's see which one we want to use. I'm glad you find it easy, Claudia. That's what it's all about. All right, just making it easier. All right, this time, let's go ahead and we'll add that rhinestone. Ooh, I love that. Remember, these rhinestones, they are in 3 different sizes. I'm going to make these all the same color. And that's our card, ladies. All right. I'm so glad you love the wave. That's awesome. We're going to give this card away tonight, okay? Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to add our inside. So if you're just joining us and you don't know how we stamped this border, you'll need to go back and watch the replay. You don't want to miss it, okay? And then we're going to center this. This piece of basic white is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Okay? So that goes inside. Thank you, Jean. I'm so glad you like the cards. So there it is in the Bermuda Bay or Coastal Cabana. I'm not sure what to, I need to look at the package to see what it's called. It's probably Coastal Cabana foil. And then here it is in the Pacific Point, all right? And I'll hold them up close. Pacific Point foil. And then this is the Coastal Cabana foil. All right. All right, so that's our card. Now I'm gonna get us set up so that we can have 2 winners tonight, all right? So hang in. Be sure you've left a comment so that your name is in the drawing this evening, all right? Tina, I'm so glad you'll be casing this card. Thank you. Thank you, Kath. Thank you so much. Remember my tips with the foil, this tip right here, okay? Because it's going to help you out when you want to make a bunch of wave cards. Okay, let me go ahead. These are our cards tonight that we're going to give away. Now, hopefully, my comment picker is working. All right, let's see here. I'm getting us all set up, and it looks like it's going to work for us tonight. Thank you, ladies. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember, if you are shopping with me in the next week, this is the hostess code. If your order is going to be over $150, don't use the hostess code. You need to be your own hostess and get those hostess benefits, okay?